Today we're working on my wife's Kia Rondo again. It needs a new ball joint, so we're going to get it jacked up, take this wheel off. We got some other things we're doing, but focus of this video is going to be ball joint. So let's get it jacked up and start at it. So back in December, I had a shop do the strut on this side because it had a broken spring, it was making some noise. And they also found that the ball joint on the passenger side was bad. You can see the strut wasn't done on that side. This one's got the new nuts on this side. They did a ball joint on the passenger side for me at that time. But now, when you look at this, got some clunking in there. From what I can see, it looks like the ball joint's moving as well. So, quite common on Hyundai and Kia cars. Unfortunately, they all kind of use the same design. I'll show you what that looks like as we go here, but see if I can show you the play in the ball joint from underneath. All right, see if I can show you this play what I'm talking about here. So we do the same thing. Shake that wheel. Let's get this wheel off. We'll get the brakes off. The brakes actually another thing I'm doing as well while I'm in here. But the ball joint is going to be the focus of this video. For the most part, Hyundais and Kias seem to like to use the 14 and 17 mil bolts. Take the brakes off just to get some more visibility to the ball joint. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the brakes at the same time, but I'm just getting those out of the way for the purpose of the ball joint video. As I've mentioned before, don't let your brake caliper hang by your brake hose. Try to prop it up somewhere, strap it up, whatever you got to do. So sometimes when you're removing these bolts, you need an impact driver to do it. Since I know I'm the one that did the brakes on this, I probably put anti-seize on it when I put it back together, so it should come out not a big deal. We'll see how right I am on that. Just like that. That's why you put anti-seize on stuff, people. Because if you're the guy doing the work later on, you'll thank yourself later. There we go. Rotor's off. That rotor's going away. We're not going to be using that anyways. And we got some rusty crusty in here. She's definitely showing its age there. Yeah. These dust shields unfortunately rot out. I typically, when they do, I don't usually replace them. They're just there to keep the debris off the parts. Other than that, they don't really serve any mechanical purpose. So this one's kind of rotted out, so we're probably just gonna go like that. There she goes. And now we got to get that ball joint out of there. Cotter pin that goes through here, we're gonna have to bend that back before we can remove that nut. Not sure if I can do this without while I'm videoing it or not, because the tripod doesn't go that low. Hopefully that's focused enough that we can get this to work. Hopefully we can do this without breaking that cotter pin. Usually the new one should come with one, but just in case. There we go. We should be able to get a grip on that. Oh, I'm spinning my fingers. Get that one out of there. There we go. That one's out of there. So our next step is we're going to remove that nut that's on there. I'm guessing it's probably 17 mil as well. It might be 18. But yeah, 17 doesn't quite fit. Before we do that, we're going to spray it with some penetrating grease oil there. I'm going to spray it around here. Hopefully it pops out of the arm fairly easily. I don't think it's going to give us too much troubles because it's been shaking like that for a while.
Wrong.
Get the persuasion bar that you aren't supposed to use. Right, that came off easy. Easy. There we are. We're going to give it a couple of love taps with the hammer here. Right about there. Get a crowbar or something and see if we can pop that thing out of there. All right, since I can't find my big crowbar, I got a piece of rebar here. That should be all I need. Some pressure on, downward pressure on the control arm to pop that thing out. So we're gonna pull up. as we tap it right here. There she goes. Jack up the strut a little bit more, just to help make it easier to get that ball joint out of there. That should move freely out. There we go. Hopefully you can see that, but yeah, she's out. We're gonna take the pressure off that strut. We got a jack stand underneath the car, so we can work on that. But actually, we won't have to jack it up again, but I'm going to jack it up over by the tie rod side. Tie rods feel tight. We just gotta give ourselves a little bit of access to the nuts on there. I'll show you what I'm looking at in a minute there. And this is just going to compress the spring a little bit, just to give us some play. There we go. There we go. Ball joint's out of the control arm. That thing is, you can see the slop in there, and she moves up and down a little bit. Not supposed to do that. So next thing we got to do is 2 bolts, 1 on each side. This is very typical for Hyundai and Kias. So you're going to see it that way on probably Hyundai Elantras, Hyundai Santa Fe, Kia Rios, Kia Sportage. All those front-wheel drive kind of applications, they kind of all use the same style of ball joint. And we're going to take a 17 mil on the impact gun. Make sure we're in reverse and see if she'll work that way. There we go. That's easier. Now, probably got to move this jack out of the way to get to the other side. And there's your ball joint. It's upside down style, but let's see if you can hear that. But that should not be making that kind of noise. We'll see if the parts guy, aka me, gave me the right part. I keep telling you, always check your parts. And I should have done that beforehand, but there's our new one. Take the nut off of there. This one does come with the grease fitting, so we're gonna put the grease fitting in there and grease it before we put it on the car. But if you look at this, no play on that one. We got our grease fitting in there. It's got a couple of pumps of grease in there, so it should be all we need. And it also comes with new bolts, and also comes with lock washers. Make sure you put your lock washers on there. Get the other one ready. And it does come with a new cotter pin. I will show you that when we get to it. I don't think these ones matter which way they're oriented, but make sure that your grease fitting is going to be facing the back so that you can service it later on. Sorry to get to focus there, because you want to be able to grease that later on. So when you put it on, we're going to put it on like this with the grease fitting facing in. And I'm putting it on upside down right now because I'm an idiot. But again, flip it over, make sure your grease fitting is facing in. See? I'm used to the old style ball joints that face up. So this is a downward facing, kind of like yoga, I think. I don't know much about yoga. That control arm is going to be in the way. And I think I'm going to jack this up again. Probably the easiest thing to do.
In hindsight, I realized I probably should have put the ball joint into the lower control arm first and then bolted it to the steering knuckle. It probably would have made this job even easier.
And this is what I hate. Okay. We use the 17 mil to take the old ones off. it doesn't fit the new ones. So it's probably going to be an 18, which I have here. It's not even an 18, probably a 19. See, look, why do they got to make things so difficult? Couldn't find my 19, but I got a 3/4 inch, which is pretty much the same thing. I'll drop the jack down again to get some room. That's better. Now, before we finish that off, I'm gonna pop the ball joint in, but I do need to torque those up yet. So we're just gonna push this down enough that I can get the control of the ball joint in the control arm. There we go. We got her at least started on there. Now we just got to kind of work it out till it's, yep, now she's lined up. And then we'll put that new nut on there. Just to keep everything in together. I couldn't find a torque spec for the bottom bolts here where it goes actually through the control arm. Typically those ones you want to make them, nice and tight, and then turn it a little more till your cotter pin holes line up and line that up. So as long as it's not loose, you should be good there because it's not going to be able to back off because of the cotter pin. These other ones where it goes onto the, where it bolts from the ball joint into this knuckle, those are, it looks like they're supposed to be around 80 foot-pounds. So we'll get the torque wrench out here, crank it up to 80 foot-pounds, and we'll give them a couple clicks here. And I probably already overdid it with the impact gun, so because it didn't even spin there. Let's see if this one, that one spins a little bit, so we'll continue on with that one. And there's 80 foot-pounds on both of those. And then we'll tighten up the bottom one. Or no, it's 18, I think, on that. Let's see if they use the same size on that one. At least they did. This gun only goes up to about 40 foot-pounds, so should be pretty good there. We're gonna see if the cotter pin lines up. We got a new cotter pin, like I was saying, for this one. Comes in the kit. Now, can we see where the hole is on this? Oh, that's nice. I don't know if you saw that. Nice and easy right through there. Gonna bend it over one this way and one that way, as it stays in place. Some guys like to bend them both the same way. I like to bend them separate. And there we go. That is all you really need for that. And now your ball joint's done. Put it back together, and Bob's your uncle. Hopefully you found this useful. And if you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know as well. Thanks again for everybody that's been subscribing. Hope you enjoy this kind of content. Again, I'm just videoing things as I do them. Hopefully somebody can find it useful. Thanks again for watching. Have a good day and a good night, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. One more thing before I go. Got the wheel back on. New brakes are in there. Now, let's see if we got any movement in this thing. No more movement. That's... You can spin the wheel this way, but there's no play in the tie rod, no play in the ball joint. That's how it should be. Thanks again for watching. See ya.